Well folks, it's time to build another raised garden bed here. Well, not the physical bed itself, but the insides, and I'm talking about what we're going to fill it in with. Now, I've been doing this for the last year or so, raised beds like this, and it's called a no-dig, and it's just layering upon layers, and we have an amazing success rate with it. So we've done it in the ground. You can see in the background down there, we've got all different types of beds that I've been trialling out, and it's all been a trial and error thing for me to see, well, for this microclimate, what better grows or what grows better, and what sort of situation that can be grown in. We've done the ground, and we've been challenged by all the weeds that like to jump into the garden beds, and you know, they travel because there's more moisture in the garden bed. So we thought we'd edge it off. That didn't work because they still get away. We haven't done a full root barrier around the ground garden beds in the background, but what we are going to do is end up raising those, because at the end of the day, we ain't getting any younger. And that's not to say that I can't bend over or squat down or do all that sort of stuff. Don't judge me like that. Don't think that. It's more the case that I'd rather be able to be more active and save my energy for other projects, like pruning a bloody hedge that's about 500 metres long. Yeah, go have a look at it. That's it. Just go show everyone. That's the one there. So we've only done a bit of it. Anyway, back to the garden bed. What I do here, and I've had great success, and I know many of you have tried it and are very happy with the results as well. Timber garden bed, you can use a metal one if you like, you can use plastic ones, whichever you prefer. As a finish, you can build it out of brick as well. I'm using these old crates that we cut our seaweed in to make our liquid gold in. And now what I've got at the bottom here is our bean straw. Now this bean straw has been sitting around for a while. This isn't fresh, straight out of the fields. It's actually been sitting in storage, out in the weather, getting rained on, moisture in there, and it starts to decompose. And that's what you want to achieve with your straw, whether it's at the base of your garden bed or on top of your garden bed. You want to activate it. One way you can do that is by just leaving it out there for weeks on end, allowing nature to do what it does and allowing the composting creatures to get in there and start to decomposing it for you, because that's the activation that you want to have in the soil. So do that out of the bed, or you can soak it like I do here, but before you soak it in there, I should say, soak it in some of our liquid gold and Eco Butch. And that's what I do here for the top dressing. You can do the same in the bed as well for the base of it, but that's a big tedious task. I prefer just to hydrate it really well like I've done here. So the bed itself is about 700-800 high, 80 centimetres high, approximately, maybe a little bit lower. Now what we have inside there is about 2/3, and if we go by the measurements, about 40 centimetres from the base filled with straw. Now that may seem like a lot for some of you, thinking, oh, there's not enough soil to go on top of this to grow, but in fact what will happen over time, this straw will start to decompose, and as it does, it'll compress. Not compress in the sense of becoming anaerobic, but decomposing where it starts to get eaten up and consumed by the microbes. And then you'll find that the top part of your garden bed will start to lower as well. So when we finish this bed today, we're going to have it filled up right to the top there. And you'll see other beds, and I've shown you plenty of times, you can look at our previous videos, where the garden beds had been filled, and over a period of 3 or 6 months, you'll find that this will actually sink about 4 inches or 100 mil or 10 centimetres, which means that we'll just come back and top it up again. But for now, step one is putting your mulch in and hydrating it. The next step is to spread your first layer of medium, and what I'm using here is our cocoa pith. This is to go straight over the top of your mulch, so you've got your coarse grade underneath, you've got a finer grade on top, and both these mediums hold a tremendous amount of moisture in them, which is great to keep the garden bed hydrated down deep below where you need it. Not just on the surface, you want it moist underneath. Otherwise, it just won't activate. So I spread about 4 bags of this at the base. Then give it a light sprinkle of water to hydrate it that extra little bit, which will also help with a little bit of the compaction, which should happen naturally, folks, rather than you pushing it down with your palm. Next, we're spreading 4 bags of compost straight over the top of the cocoa. This is a beautiful compost made by the Geelong City Council for us. They do a great job. We're meant to go out there and film. Unfortunately, our schedules didn't align the date we actually picked. We had a few other occurrences, but stay tuned for that, folks, because we're going to reorganise the date for filming and go out there and see how they process the composting or make the compost out of the green organics that they collect. When it comes to compost, folks, you want a beautifully blended compost that's got some little cookies in there as well, little bits like that. In there is a world of microbes, full of life, ready to activate. And when you've got bigger ones, it's even better. It's a bigger population. They're everywhere in here. Look at this. When you crack it open, now that's black gold for us. It's worth its weight in gold, folks. It's full of life in there. And when you put that into your garden there with your plants, it activates and actually just starts to populate and everything comes to life. And remember to hydrate each layer as you fill it in. You need to hydrate everything because it's not going to hydrate as efficiently straight over the top once you finish it all. So layer upon layer, water upon water, and that way we get the moisture right through from the top to the bottom. And then to top it off with our most popular mix of all, and that's our planting mix. This stuff here's got everything you need to have a healthy garden. And we're talking about populating the life in the soil, not about feeding the plants. We want to get the life in the soil right, and that way the plants will be right as well. This has got our compost, it's got our superfood, black grit, charcoal, cocoa, worm castings, rice hulls, and more. And the idea of this is that you've got everything you need in one bag with all the drainage, the moisture that it requires to hold with good porosity, and the life will just populate. Your plants will literally be jumping out of the ground with joy. Not from frightness, but with joy. So 4 bags of planting mix straight over the top. And one thing I should mention, again, is that these clean skin bags, we're at the tail end of them, folks, so grab a hold of as many as you can because they're discounted to clear, because we're going into a labelled bag which will have all the instructions, all the information you need for assurance and quality control as well, so that you can read the instructions as you need them, the directions, and obviously know exactly what's in your bag when you purchase it. So these clean skin bags are on special at the moment. Once we sell out of these and the labelled bags turn up, that's the end of those discounted prices. So grab them while they're hot. Look how easy this is. You don't have to dig the garden. You don't have to get a shovel and a pick and a mattock. Just layer it. And when it does sink down, all you've got to do is crack a bag or two open and top it up again and put a little bit more mulch over the top. And that's it. And continue planting. You don't stop planting. You don't leave gaps. I know I've got gaps. Do as I preach, not as I do, folks. Because if you had to do what I do, you'd give up. And hydrate again. Every layer, a little bit more water. Just what the doctor ordered. Now to top it up, we've got our mulch again. This is our bean mulch or straw. Now you don't have to do this, honestly, you don't have to, but I know many of you have and you've seen the great results with it. And what I'm talking about is inoculating it with our EcoButch and Liquid Gold. So I've got this big, what do you call it, a wheelbarrow, a four-wheeler, that's filled up with our Liquid Gold and EcoButch. So this is about 80, 90, 100 litres, I don't know exactly how many. And you put about 20 mil of each per 10 litres, so about 100 mil of each in this wheelbarrow, let's call it. And you soak your mulch in there, and what that does, it actually activates the microbes, you know, the good and bad, not the bad I should say, the good bacteria and the fungi to get involved and start partying into the mulch. But then we're going to pick all this up and then carefully, without making a mess because it stinks to the high heavens, and spread it over the top. Now this hasn't been sitting in there for all that long. I prepared it a little bit earlier, but ideally, if you could let it sit for a day or two in the mulch, in the liquid, sorry, that way it'll soften up and really absorb all that extra moisture and hold on to it. And it will stay hydrated a lot longer than your normal mulch when you just spread over the top without inoculating it. I find it actually compacts well, but it doesn't become anaerobic. So it holds well, it doesn't dig up that easily, and hopefully the birds don't disturb it that much either as well. But if they do, well, you know what to do there. There we go, look at that. Done. All in a matter of about 5 minutes, folks. And now we're going to plant it out. I'm going to let this sit for a day before I plant it. I've got some onions, carrots, I've got garlic, rocket, lettuce, broad beans, chrysanthemums as well. So we're going to mix it all up, a bit of a multi-species planting, and that way you have the party happening. So the more varieties you put into one garden bed, the better the population of microbes in the soil are. And you'll find the worms will appear as well. They're magical creatures. They'll just turn up and it'll be fantastic for everybody. Let me show you one that I've done earlier. Although this one here isn't quite multi-species planted, folks. You know why? Because I love doing my trials. I love seeing what it works with or without the concept of multi-species. And the real truth here is that because our soil's so rich with life and nutrients, these little beauties are doing tremendously well. I reckon this is about 3 weeks old. Look at that, I just took the bloody flower off, you idiots. Anyway, we've got lots of lettuce in here. We've got some garlic planted in between, which hasn't sprouted up as yet, and calendulas or chrysanthemums in the middle there. Look how clean these leaves are. We've got it protected with the bird netting. This is the insect netting. We've got our mulch, and you can see it's already sunken down. So we topped this up. Well, actually, did we top it up? I can't remember, but look, it has sunken down because initially it was up here. Now what you're seeing here is a mulch mat as well. This is one I've done earlier on in the year, trialling out the mulch mat to see if I need to use it or not, and I've resided to the fact that I don't. I'm happy with these timber boxes lasting me up to 5 years and then replacing them. Hopefully they'll last longer. But I'm going to get a lot of produce out of them, and if you sit there and do the sums, what's that, $3-4 a lettuce head? What have we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. At 3, it's almost $100 worth of lettuce in here. We do 2 or 3 cycles of that. There's $300. So $100 a planter bed every season. You've got 3 planter beds, $300. If you do it 2 or 3 times through the year, you're guaranteed about $1,000 in produce you can grow if you collect your seeds. Cost you nothing because the plants produce that for you. All you need to do is top it up every 3 months. So the initial outlay is a bed, whatever size or shape you like. The amount of soil you use, in my case here I use a big bale of straw, 4, 4 and 4 bags of our mix, which is the triple pack is $25, $100 there, a bed and some mulch over the top. So let's say $150. You can get the beds pretty cheap, second hand. That's your first outlay. Then after that, a couple of bags every 3 months and a little bit more mulch over the top, which is about $20 worth or $25 worth. Can't go wrong. And the rest is up to nature and a little bit of water, folks. So the outlay may seem a lot for a lot of people, or some of you, but I tell you, the rewards at the end far outweigh the cost to set it up. Get into your garden. If you haven't got a raised bed and you want to do it on the ground, it's even cheaper. Just make sure the soil's clean of weeds and you've got yourself a nice barrier to stop them from jumping in. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. Our planting mix, compost and cocoa clean skin bags are going to run out. They're on special to clear. Triple packs are only $25. That's heavily discounted. And the redeem of the reward points, folks. I can't stress that enough. Get onto it. If you've got something you want to redeem them, now's your time, a chance to do it before we move over to the new website. Then after, we'll start all over again. vasilisgarden.com from me, Vasili Maresi.